Do you think you need to work around the clock to supersize and grow your business? I don't really have a clock these days, but because we all use our cell phones to keep time, right? Or watches. I don't even have my Fitbit on today. It's my granddaughter's Fitbit, but that needs charging as well. So, our idiom, our expression today is around the clock. What the heck does around the clock mean? It means, of course, the entire 24-hour cycle that represents a day. So wherever you are, it's slightly different for each of us based on our time zone, but it's basically to always be on, always be working all day, all night, throughout the day, throughout the night. And usually refers to someone who is working really hard at something. If you're hard at work at something, somebody might say, oh, she's working around the clock to get that report done. He worked around the clock studying for his certification exam. She spent 24/7 around the clock working on the project to make sure that it was the best she could possibly do, etc., etc., etc. She built her business around the clock. Now, I'm here to tell you, been there, done that, not the best idea when it comes to building and growing and supersizing our businesses. We will burn out, we will run out of energy, we'll run out of steam at some point if we don't take care of ourselves. Again, another tough life lesson that I had to learn the hard way, but I'm certainly delighted and glad that I did, because it reminded me to set my priorities and realize what's really important in our lives. One is our health, which obviously I'm feeling a little under the weather, but we still show up, right? We still do what we need to do, but we only do the things that we need to do. So when we're looking at our business, when we're looking at growing and supersizing and taking our business from one stage of growth to the next, do we really need to sacrifice anything? Do we really need to work around the clock, or do we really need to work a whole lot smarter and put the systems and the people and the building blocks and the pieces of the puzzle in place to create the business that we want to create? Because I don't know about you, but long term, I never wanted to work as hard as I was working when I was first starting and setting up some of my businesses. But I had the false belief that that's what I had to do in order to get that business off the ground and get it working and running and growing in the direction I wanted it to go. And I learned over years of some good and some bad experiences that it's not about me working around the clock 24/7. It's about me creating the team and the systems and the processes and procedures that will work around the clock to create the results that we want, whether I'm there or not. It's the same with our habits. We set up habits so that we're making progress toward the things that we want all the time without having to consciously think about it. So, curious, share in the comments below today, what is really required for you to pay attention to? What do you really need to know about or pay attention to around the clock when it comes to supersizing and growing your business? And I'm going to say, for me nowadays, I used to have to know a whole lot of stuff and have my fingers in a whole lot of things, but now I only need to know a couple of key numbers, key performance indicators, key results, and I watch the direction that they're going, give some feedback and input, and then businesses grow without me. Actually, businesses grow when I step back and get the heck out of the way, because most of the time I was the bottleneck in terms of stalling out the growth in my different businesses in every industry I've been involved in. And when I realized I was the bottleneck, stepped back and got out of the way, that's when everything really took off and grew. So make sure you're not the bottleneck, but remember, when you're growing and building and supersizing a business, even if you're not the bottleneck, 24/7 you are responsible for that business. You are personally responsible, which comes with leadership, for everything that happens in and because of that business. And if we take on 100% ownership and personal responsibility, we'll always make the right decisions and choices for our business, at least most of the time. And the decisions that we make that aren't 100% on track, we'll learn from those. We'll learn the lessons and we'll make better decisions next time. So share in the comments below your experience with around the clock. What have you ever had to pull an all-nighter on, work 24/7, put forth so much effort that you weren't sure that you could actually continue to do it? Share those stories in the comments below, and I'll of course with you tomorrow with another time-related idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? I guess I didn't share where this one came from because I couldn't find it. I didn't really find the history of this. I suppose as long as clocks have been around, people have been talking about around the clock. Have an awesome day, and I will of course be with you tomorrow. Bye.